Okay, I think we're good. All right, thanks guys. Hey, welcome to our second week of our Diamond Mastermind Invitational. This one is all about closing with confidence and overcoming objections, which I know is something that's like this skill, like Vanessa said, that it's really tough to kind of figure out what the magic formula is. And the good thing is that there is no magic formula. It sort of happens over time, and it's just something that it's different for everyone. And once you kind of find what works, it all falls into place, and you'll be able to take that and apply it to the future. But it's kind of trial and error. And so I'm going to kind of go over some things that have worked for me, some things that have worked for some other coaches, and hope that it will inspire you. Let's see. So Vanessa kind of already alluded to all of this, but I'm 32 years old. I have 3 kids that are all under the age of 5, and I work full-time as a graphic designer, and I'm also a Beachbody coach. So I became a coach in August of 2014. It was 6 months after I had my 3rd child, Drew. So I was literally 6 months postpartum, still had my Poochie mom belly, and I was just ready to make things happen. So I kind of jumped into it with the intention of being a discount coach, and then realized that, hey, coaching is kind of fun, and things are happening, and people are asking me what's going on, and oh, maybe I could really do this. So I didn't actively start coaching and running challenge groups until October of last year. And I became Diamond in June of this year. And those are my 3 little ones on the right, Emma, Hope, and Drew. So last week's recap, Vanessa did a really great talk about belief in yourself as a successful coach, consistently recruiting coaches by posting about what you do as a coach, posting about the benefits of coaching, and inviting to the coaching opportunity. I think doing all of those things is something that, I mean, we don't have a problem showing fitness, showing our Shakeology, showing healthy eating, showing all of this, but showing coach posts it seems like those ones are done a lot less because people are a little scared of like putting themselves out there, and it seems like it could be pretty vulnerable. So your posts have been made, the invites are out, and responses come in, or not, but now what? So I don't know if any of you suffer from this word vomit syndrome, which is attempting to enunciate anything and everything about a subject matter in question. But that is me. I feel like when people ask me about something, if it's about a challenge pack or about coaching, and especially in the beginning, I wanted to tell them everything, and then all of a sudden my responses were like pages and pages long. And it was number 1, taking up a lot of my time, and number 2, it was probably a little bit of an overload to someone's like, oh, hey, I just wanted to know how you lost 10 pounds. And that was it. So the basic things and the basic premise to all of this stuff is to just keep it simple and don't overthink it. Some of the top things to remember when you've got your invitations out and you're inviting people to coaching and talking about coaching opportunities is to be proactive about it and don't assume anything. I think my biggest thing in the beginning was I just assumed that people wouldn't want to be on a team with me, or that I wouldn't be a good leader, or that they wouldn't want to coach. And it wasn't until I started actively putting the question out there to people that I was getting responses back of, oh, well, yeah. Oh, you think I could be a good coach? Well, yeah, that's something I never even thought about. So thanks, kind of this thanks for asking. And if I had never even asked the question, I mean, chances are they wouldn't have even reached out to me to want to even try it. And there's a lot of coaches on my team right now because of that. I really probably only had about 3 coaches actively reach out to me without me asking the question. Everyone else I went to myself. And the other thing is to respond with a question so that you can truly understand the real issues and sincerely offer the correct solution. So when people come back to you with objections, or they come back with, not a for sure yes. It's kind of like just they want to know more, but they're a little unsure. They're kind of on the fence about things. Don't automatically just jump into sort of, I call it like defensive mode about everything that you like about being a coach, and here's everything that they should like to. But find out really and truly what it is that is maybe causing them to question it. And also, this is a big one for me, is that intent counts more than technique. I can't tell you how many times I've like gone through like other people's scripts, or I've gone through and watched training videos, and I've gone through to figure out like, well, how am I supposed to respond? Like, I don't know what to say. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be intentional, and it has to come from the heart. So people are not going to care about how much you know about coaching, or the stats that you can throw out, or the numbers, or anything like that, until they trust you and they know that you actually care about them. So it's not about you. It truly is about them. And that's what we say when we're trying to get challengers. That's what we say when we're trying to help people with any of this, is it's not about us. Yes, we want to grow our businesses, and yes, there are things that are in it for us, but it truly is about the person that you're trying to help. Find out what their why is and use that to figure out what it is about coaching that might work for them. Because what you love about coaching and how it works in your life might not necessarily be what someone else is going to love about coaching too. And then I know you've all heard this before, but the best way that you can kind of come back with things is using the feel, felt, found method. I know how you feel. This is how I felt. I found that kind of thing. So I have a couple objections. I mean, I know that there's tons of them. I mean, we all probably have a list of all the objections we've ever gotten from people. But I'm going to share 4 that I think are probably the most common. At least they have been for me. And then I put a response in there, so I'll read it. But I mean, you guys will see the recording, or if you want to screenshot it or use it for any, to help you out if you come up with any of these type of objections. And I try to use the same thing with the feel, felt, found, but you can kind of see. So objection number 1, I don't have a transformation. Oops. So I get this a lot from people because they think that they need to be in perfect shape to become a coach, or they need to have worked on their transformation first to become a coach. And so this was one of the responses that I had back to someone, like, oh my gosh, I was in the same boat. I was 6 months postpartum when I started coaching. I didn't think I could inspire anybody because I was so new. But by sharing my health and fitness journey, people began reaching out to me and supporting me in reaching my goals. Coaching was my ultimate accountability partner, surrounded by like-minded people who are on the same journey as me. And then throwing in there, plus a perfect body isn't what inspires. Taking action is what inspires. And you write your own transformation story as you go and learn the ropes. Do you know anyone in your life who might like a little motivation and accountability and join in on your journey? So I think kind of keeping it, that was really short. that's I don't have to speak the whole story about coaching. I hit what their objection to coaching was, which was, thanks, but no thanks. I don't have a transformation yet. I'm not going to be a good coach. This one I get a lot. I'm too busy and I don't have the time. And so for me, I mean, I'm a full-time working mom. I have 3 kids. I'm definitely busy. And so I actually was really surprised how well coaching fit into my life, being so busy. And, I've always heard the quote, and that you guys may have heard too, that busy people get things done. And it's true. I mean, the days that I don't have much to do, or like when I was on maternity leave with my first baby, didn't have any toddlers running around. I'm like, well, I'm going to get so much done because like I'm at home. I have just like, I don't know anything to do. Well, I got nothing done. Not a thing. I mean, I cuddled my baby and I did that important stuff, but your list, your to-do list, when I wasn't like that busy, I didn't get anything done. And now I'm busier than I've ever been. And, you know, I'm getting things done. So you can read it here, but girl, I'm right there with you. Life is so crazy right now in between diaper changes, midnight feedings, school pickups, working full time. I was overwhelmed and frazzled before I started coaching last year. The best thing about this coaching gig is I can fit it in the nooks and crannies of my life. I check into challenge groups on my lunch break. I listen to personal development on my commute. I respond to emails 30 minutes after the kids go to bed. It's so flexible and manageable for my lifestyle. And then being able to spend 30 to 60 minutes a day working on myself and surrounding myself with a team of encouraging coaches has made me a better, you could say mom, wife, friend, whatever it is that you are. It's pretty much a win-win. So there I was actually throwing in how much time I spend, although let's be real, sometimes it's a lot more than that, but we don't want to scare them away. So 30 to 60 minutes to just show that it doesn't have to be that much, and coaching can be what you want it to be. I'm not a salesperson. I don't get this one a whole lot, and I think it's probably in the ways that for me, when I'm doing all of my posts, that the people reaching out to me or the people that I've been connecting with haven't ever felt that I was a salesperson or haven't felt that I've been too salesy. So I've only gotten this one really a couple of times, but I know it comes up a lot because people think they have to sell things, which, as we all know, isn't true. We're sharing stories. So I'm such an introvert. I'm absolutely not a salesperson. If that were a requirement to be a coach, I would be terrible at it. I found that by simply sharing and being authentic with my journey, I was truly able to inspire people. And then you can go on to, you know, whatever else you want to stay in there. But like I said, I haven't gotten that one too much, but I think just reiterating and noting on the fact that we don't sell things. And sometimes I've gotten that, actually people have said that to my face more than an email. And where I said, well, have you ever felt like I've been selling things to you? Well, no, I guess not. And I said, well, but I post about this stuff all the time. And I've been posting about it for over a year. So if you've never felt that I've been selling anything to you, then chances are you won't feel the same way either. And then objection number 4, I don't know enough people. So people think that you have to have this army of knowing people to make money and to actually build a business off of this. So this is the truth, that when I started coaching, I was really on Facebook. I used it mainly for putting up pictures of my kids and Facebook scrolling and stalking, but not ever liking or commenting on anybody else. I just like looked through to see what everyone else was doing, and then, you know, put up Facebook albums for all the relatives that lived out of town. So I didn't have a blog. I didn't use Twitter. Still don't use Twitter. I use Instagram, but I felt like I wouldn't be able to find anyone who needed my help. But by sharing my journey, I actually attracted people to be following me. So the people and the questions grew as I grew and as I shared my story, and I crossed paths with people I never would have met if I hadn't been coaching. It's been such a great way to reconnect with old friends too. So after you hear all the objections, when you're responding back, you really need to be confident about what you're writing back. Don't automatically like withdraw, well, they said no, or they're not sure. I think really, I mean, a lot of people like to hear nice things said about themselves. Not everybody's language is, you know, kind words, but I think everybody likes to hear it anyway. So reiterate the attributes that drew you to them in the first place. And I just put like an example here. Gosh, I love your devotion to your family, your recent posts about healthy eating for a family of 5. You have so much to share and offer on a weekly basis. Have you ever thought about coaching? And then remembering to end with a call to action. Don't just leave it hanging in the air or kind of leaving it in their court, because chances are you'll get people ghosting on you, or you'll be sitting there wondering, well, I see they read my message. Are they going to respond? So I'll touch base with you tomorrow to answer any questions you might have either way. And maybe if it's somebody you know well enough, you can text them, you can call them. Most of my communication is through email and Facebook Messenger, just because it's quicker and easier to get a hold of people, especially people that have families, that way. And let them know that they're not going to be left hanging. I think a lot of people think that they're going to have to figure this out on their own, and that it's going to be too overwhelming, and that's really what they're not going to have time for, is like reading up on stuff and figuring it out. and just let them know that you have self-guided training that gives them all the tools and templates they need, along with this huge team for support. And, you know, we are really lucky being part of, in the downline of the Bombshell Dynasty, that we have access to such great leadership, such great trainings. We have people from, you know, executives in the company that are speaking on our team calls. You know, we're an exception to what goes on in most of Beachbody, and that's really special. So I think just knowing that, sharing with them that they're not going to be alone. They're going to be surrounded by a bunch of people who want to help them, and everyone is wanting to be lifting them up. And then following up, of course, that's the biggest thing. We all know that. Hey girl, I just wanted to check in and make sure everything I sent over made sense. I'm always looking for feedback on how I can better explain coaching, so please let me know if there's anything that needs a more in-depth description. So that way you're not even asking specifically what it was that, you know, that they wanted to know more about on coaching. You can kind of just get them to respond in a way that may have, you know, maybe they have another objection, or maybe they have more questions, but it's not, they don't feel pressured. Oh gosh, I got to respond, and how am I going to tell her no? You're kind of asking in a roundabout way. And then remembering that no can mean not right now, as we all know for challenge packs and challengers. Then don't give up on people, especially if you think that this can be a life-changing opportunity for them. So continue to build a relationship, you know, continue to keep up with them, and comment on photos, and, you know, check in on what they're doing, and really stay connected, and they'll see what you're doing. And, you know, it may not be a good fit for them, but it might be. It just may not be at this time. So continuing to show that you truly care, and then maybe checking in later on. Hey, I have a Coach Basics group that I'm starting up next week. I know you had expressed an interest in coaching at one time. Is this a better month for you? Is it something you think you might want to give a try? So I saw this quote that I really liked. Experience breeds competence, and competence breeds confidence. So you might not know how to do everything right now when it comes to inviting for coaches or responding to objections, but you're going to learn as you do it more and more and more. And you're not even going to have to think about it. You'll be able to just type something back quick, or you'll be able to send a quick voice message. You're not going to have to sit back and, you know, at the very beginning I was, you know, writing my notes. I was typing and typing things. I found a formula that kind of works for me. So I keep it, I just keep it in a notes document, and I can copy and paste, and then I can adjust little bits here and there based on who it is that I'm talking to, but the main base of it is there. And so I don't feel like I'm having to spend all this time rewriting things every time somebody comes back to me with objections or with more questions on coaching. And then the other thing is use common objections that you get to craft your posts and speak to your target market. So if you get a lot of people saying that they're too busy, do a post about how you could check in your challenge groups while you were waiting for soccer practice to finish up, or you know, that you were able to do it after you finish grocery shopping, or just how you can fit into these nooks and crannies of your life and how you make it work. I did a post about how, you know, I'm doing like 90% of my work on my phone. In fact, I got a new iPhone, and it's a tax write-off for me this year because of Beachbody. If you don't have a transformation, post in process or unprogress photos. Show the human and the real life side of coaching and getting fit, so that people out there, or people that you're trying to connect with, can say, oh, well, okay, she messed up last month, like she gained a couple of pounds, and she like put it on Facebook, and she's still coaching, so okay, maybe I could do something like that. So and then about not knowing that many people, maybe post about how you meet people from all over the country through coaching and challenge groups. And I mean, I have success partners that are in, you know, 5 or 6 different states, and some of them I've only met once, maybe a couple of them I've not met ever in real life, but I still consider them family. And so doing posts about that and how you're like expanding friendships and relationships, I think, is important. Especially, I think, when we get to this age where you are maybe out of school, you've moved on to maybe you've started a family or you've done other things. But guys, making friends as adults is really hard. And I think coaching has given me this sort of, I mean, I don't go out, I don't want to go out to like clubs and do things that I did like, years ago, but it gives me a chance to meet people, make new friends, and, people that I would have never connected with otherwise. And then lastly, all jobs have objections. Any job that you could ever have is going to have objections. My job has objections. I have people that don't like my designs. I have art directors that step in and want me to make changes. I have deadlines that get, and budgets that get blown and things that don't work out. Like, I run into objections all the time, as I'm sure many of you do. So coaching is not an exception. It's not this little magical thing that like coaching is the only thing that people ever have objections to. It's not. And another thing is, do not take it personal. When people are coming back and saying no, or coming back with an objection, it is not about you. It is truly about them and their fears, and maybe the timing and the season of their life. So it is not about you and who you are as a person or how you're projecting your coaching. It's not about you. Remember what drew you to coaching, and use your personal experience to relate and to respond back to people. So even though what you loved about coaching may not necessarily be what someone else loves about it, it's still okay to share it, and it's still okay to talk about from personal experience, because that is truly how people connect back to you, is because it's someone that they trust and that they know, and they want to hear your personal experience. So your story is your truth. Be proud. Celebrate all of your successes, no matter how small. Make posts about, that's why Becca says it all the time. And, I tell my team is to post about things. It doesn't matter. You don't have to, if you had a great paycheck, even if it was $45, you don't have to use numbers. You can just be excited about your paycheck, and you can post about that, and nobody needs to know any different. And, I posted about, I was doing a team call. I did a team call with 3 people, but I was really proud of it. And I was excited. So I posted about it. And then stop with the just. This is something that when I was when I was going to college, and we had to talk about our portfolios in the graphic design world, and had to give presentations. The biggest critique that we ever got from our professors is to stop using the word just. They said that diminishes the importance of it as what you do. So you are not, when you're talking to people, you are not just a Beachbody coach. You are a Beachbody coach. Be proud of that. So eliminate just from your vocabulary and leave comparison at the door. I know it is really hard when we're following these coaches that have been doing it for so long and seem so successful, and they are successful. And, that's a lot of what we're seeing in our feed, which can be really good for inspiration and to kind of keep the good mojo going of being excited about coaching. But it can also be the thief of joy. It can take away what we're excited about as a coach, because we think that we are not to their level, and then we start comparing, and we start thinking we won't ever be to that level, and it just becomes this vicious cycle that sucks out everything that we need to put into coaching to actually help us rise up. So imagine your consistency as the bricks to the foundation on which your tribe will be built. So with your consistency, you're putting brick by brick by brick by brick, and you're building up to where your tribe and where your team is going to be and is going to grow. And the last thing is, the answer is always no if the question is never asked. So like I said before, don't assume that people don't want to do this, and that their objections are the final answer. Don't assume that. And just ask, because you never know if you don't ask. And lastly, very lastly, be confident, be consistent, and be you. Your tribe will come. Any questions?
That was so good, Sarah. Like, seriously. I definitely, do you think you could make these slides available? Like, I don't know, publish them somewhere that we could have them, maybe share a link in the...
Yes. Yes, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because some of those, like, some of those scripts that you had and some of those answers to the different objections, they were just like I was taking notes, like they were just worded so perfectly. So I think that would be a really great resource for everyone.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
All right, let me stop the recording.